online online training program on monitoring and evaluation for the young and emerging evaluators from South Asia. Before we proceed further, let me give you a quick background of today's launch event. Community of Evaluators South Asia initiated a collective of young and emerging evaluators in South Asian countries to register as members of the YEE South Asia Network. YEE South Asia Network aspires to be the voice of young evaluators in South Asia and link with national entities for the purpose. Today, with this event, we are launching our online training program for the YEEs. I request the participants to use the chat box if you have any specific question or comment. It may not be possible to address all those comments now, but if time permits, we'll request our distinguished speakers to respond to one or two of those questions, but we'll surely take note of all your comments for learning and reflection later. Okay, now by saying this, let me begin today's program. And at first, let me invite Mr. Chelladurai Solomon to officially inaugurate the program and say a few words. Before I hand over to Mr. Solomon, let me introduce him briefly. Mr. Chelladurai Solomon is a researcher and evaluator with 30+ years of experience. He contributes as a development management consultant based in Bangalore, India. He is a founder and director and the present chairperson of the Community of Evaluators South Asia. Over to you, Chella.
Thank you, Rajiv. As Rajiv said, I'm Chelladurai Solomon, chairperson of Community of Evaluators South Asia. It's my pleasure to welcome each of you gathered here at the launch event of Young and Emerging Evaluators South Asia. It's a huge event for CoE South Asia, and it has been a long-awaited program. CoE South Asia had planned the launch along with the evaluation conclave in 2020. We have to postpone the conclave and the launch of the YEE South Asia due to the pandemic. I take this opportunity to appreciate and thank the support of UNFPA, United Nations Population Fund, to initiate YEEs South Asia. They have also been kind enough to understand the delay and go with the online training given the pandemic situation. I will fail in my duty if I do not acknowledge the understanding and support of Mr. Marco Segon, Director, and Mr. Rasela Kalgumbetia of UNFPA Evaluation Office. I want to also acknowledge the presence of Professor Dr. Robert Chambers and his enduring spirit and drive behind the participatory approach to evaluation. He is here with us to inspire the young and emerging evaluators. I would also like to recognize the presence of the other speakers, Ms. Gabriela Renteria Flores, Chairperson of Evaluate Global Network, Dr. Radha Wakambo, Director Ideas and Advisory Member of CoE South Asia, and Ms. Deshan Tolkar, Core Member of Evaluate Bhutan. Of course, not forgetting the presence of the governing board members of CoE South Asia, here to wish the program all well. Little bit about CoE. CoE is a legally registered body as a non-profitable company. CoE as an evaluation community has set a vision of evaluation for a just and equitable society. CoE South Asia has the mission of building capacities, generating knowledge, disseminating evidence, building networks, and creating an enabling environment for high quality evaluation and its use in South Asia. We have a stable institutional base to carry out our mission with committed and voluntary governing board members, committees, and advisory members. In terms of strategic programs, we have a pioneer, CoE South Asia is a pioneer organization in evaluation field building, capacity building, and networking in South Asia. Evaluation Conclave is a flagship program of CoE South Asia, and so far we have had 4 face-to-face evaluation conclaves in India, Nepal, and Bhutan. It has been in collaboration with the respective national government. The conclaves have been highly impactful in the region at different levels and stakeholders. CoE South Asia has been making all efforts to keep its interventions and contributions vibrant. We have 4 committees focusing on different strategic areas of CoE South Asia's interests. Membership Committee, Networking and Dissemination Committee, Professionalization Committee, and Research Committee. There are several projects in the pipeline and they're all in the making. On the other front, CoE South Asia has been promoting special interest groups. A Gender and Equity Network South Asia, GENSA, is one such special interest group of CoE South Asia, which represents an equity and gender lens in evaluation. It gives voice to the special challenges in addressing these issues in South Asia. Members representing CoE's governing board convene and coordinate the different committees and special interest groups. Now, coming to the important point here is Young and Emerging Evaluators South Asia. I'm delighted to state that we are now launching Young and Emerging Evaluators South Asia, another but vital special interest group of CoE South Asia. YEEs South Asia is currently set to reach out to the young and emerging evaluators, especially South Asia. YEEs South Asia aspire to be the voice of young evaluators in South Asia and links with national entities. YEEs South Asia aim to network and promote capacity building on M&E for young and emerging evaluators from South Asia to become professionally sound. In the longer run, this is to secure a sustainable resource pool of evaluation professionals by promoting the inclusion of youth and young people in evaluation processes to achieve development objectives and sustainable development goals. The consistent efforts of Dr. Mallika Samaranayake, the first chairperson of CoE South Asia and the focal point of YEEs South Asia, have helped to concretize this initiative. Later in this event, Mallika will provide more details about YEEs South Asia and the way forward. Just to conclude with, looking at the number of members who have registered with YEEs South Asia, I see an overwhelming enthusiasm. CoE South Asia will go all out to meet the immediate expectations of the members and facilitate the long-term objective. I wish all the best for the initiative, Young and Emerging Evaluators South Asia. As a symbol of launching the event, I invite all of you to join in lighting the lamp virtually. Thank you, and I will request Rajesh to initiate the slide, please.
To put full screen, Aditi, Rajesh.
Yeah. Yes, Rajesh, audio is missing.
Okay, you can see
Please,
that lamp
full
is
screen, please.
getting
Okay.
lighted.
Yeah.
Because it looks lovely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Chella. Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you so much. We are extremely delighted that Professor Robert Chambers is with us today to deliver the keynote address. Professor Chambers needs no introduction, but it's my duty to introduce him formally to the audience today. Professor Robert Chambers is an academic and development practitioner. He spent most of his academic career at the Institute of Development Studies, University of Sussex. In 2013, he became an honorary fellow of the International Institute of Social Studies. Professor Chambers has been one of the leading advocates for putting the poor, destitute, and marginalized at the center of the processes of development policy. He has been rightly referred to as development's best advocate. He popularized within development circles such phrases as putting the last first, and stressed the need for development professionals to be critically self-aware. We all know that the widespread acceptance of a participatory approach today is all because of him and his contributions to the development field. I'm sure Professor Chambers' keynote will inspire the young professionals to grow and contribute in bringing change and achieving equality. The floor is yours, Professor Chambers.
Well, thank you for that over generous introduction. I feel very, very privileged to have been asked to give a keynote. It was very prudent of Malika, who knows me well. It was very prudent of her to say 10 minutes, because she knows very well that I'm a terrible gas bag. And if you give me 5 minutes, I'll take 10. And if you give me 10, I'm in danger of taking 20. But I will try not to beat about the bush anymore, but to keep to the time limit.
Not to worry, Robert.
What?
Not to worry, I said. Go ahead.
Malika and I have been teasing one another for how many decades? Quite a long time. Well, I'm very, very pleased to have this opportunity. I congratulate all those concerned on involving young evaluators, young and emerging evaluators. I think this is very, very important. One of the dangers as you get older and older, one of the dangers as you get older and older is that you think you know more and more, when actually you know less and less, and you're out of date, out of touch and out of date. And it is you, the younger evaluators, who have got the opportunity, indeed, I would say the obligation really, to be in touch and up to date, and to make sure that older people, if they're out of touch and out of date, that their reality is corrected. I've got 3 things I want to say, and they may not be what you expect, but anyway, I'm going to say them. The first one, about evaluation generally and participatory evaluation, is about multiple perspectives. If you like, whose reality counts. Because in any evaluation process, there are many actors, there are many people who, one way or another, are involved in or represented in the evaluation. And being inclusive, which is a word that really we've only been using a lot in the last 10 years, but it's very, very important. Being inclusive means taking special care to identify the people who are liable to be left out, as Malika was mentioning, those who are poorer, who are less vocal, who are marginalized one way or another. It is very, very important, in my view, always to ask, who is not here? Who is not represented? Who should I take special steps to involve in this process so that their voice is both expressed and is heard? This is a huge responsibility of any evaluator, and I think it's pretty fundamental. So that's the first thing that I wanted to do, which was to say, whose reality counts, and to keep on asking the who's question. Who's speaking, who isn't? Whose view of things are we seeing, and whose are we not? What are we not hearing? And always to be a bit skeptical and doubting and asking again and again, why? Why do you think that? And then probing, because very often it's through probing the responses that people give that we and they all learn much better and faster and more realistically. So that was my first point, that there are multiple perspectives, and any good evaluator will try to elicit all of them. And if they don't do that, it's rather like belonging to a flat Earth society, which doesn't see that we live on a globe, because there always are many different perspectives. There isn't one true perspective, unless it's one of continual doubting and continual probing and continual learning and unlearning. That was the first point, multiple perspectives. The second point I wanted to make, which again I think is fundamental, is about facilitation. We have a terrible international, worldwide shortage of good facilitators. Now, when I say good facilitators, you may say, well, what are you talking about? What's a good one?
Yeah, chance.
Sorry? Oh, I thought somebody said something. I'm not taking too long, am I?
No problem.
No, I mean, because I can shorten it all. I did warn you that I was a bit of a gas bag. But this is that facilitation. If you're facilitating an evaluation, a participatory evaluation, then relationships become very important, and critical reflection on how people are relating to us, the evaluators, what they see us as having a role to play, whether they distort or censor what they're telling us or what they're showing us because they see us as being in a position of power. There's this saying that all power deceives. And what that really seeks to say is that anyone who is in a powerful position in relation to somebody else, an upper to a lower, let's say, is liable to be led by the reality that is presented by the lower. So that's the second thing, that attitudes and behavior
Robert, we lost your audio.
I don't hear.
You should be able to hear me again.
Yeah, yes.
Now it's fine.
I think this machine was showing very good judgment in muting me. Anyway, it's a signal, I think, that I better get on with it. But the attitudes and behavior and the relationships of an evaluator to those who are involved in the evaluation are fairly critical and need to be reflected on. And to the extent that they may be distorting, those distortions probed, understood, and offset. So that was the second one, about facilitation and about power and relationships. Very, very important. And the last one, I wonder if you can guess what it is. The last one is that, and particularly for you lucky devils who are young evaluators, there has been an explosion of participatory approaches and methods in the past 20 years. And there's a huge range of different approaches and methods that you can pick up and use. In my view, and of course you can disagree or I may be wrong, but in my view, anybody who thinks they've arrived at a way of evaluating and they've got it, and this is it, they've lost the plot. It reminds me of an experience I had with whitewater canoeing. Have any of you done whitewater canoeing? No, I don't see any Any hands raised? Well, whitewater canoeing, you've seen it probably in the Olympic Games. You're in a canoe with a paddle, and it's very, very unstable and very easy to tip over. And on one occasion, I was very inexperienced, and I was just starting to do this. And I came to some white water, which is the water pouring over rocks, and it just looked awful. And I thought, this is it. There's no way I can get through this. But amazingly, I did. And I was coming out on the calm water below. And at that moment, I said, bloody hell, Robert, you've done it. And that's when I tipped over. And this is what happens. The moment we think we've arrived, we've lost the plot. And the other thing to remember here is that when you're faced with uncertain situations, you don't say to yourself, what does it say in the manual? You just use your best judgment and do the very best you can in the circumstances, being flexible. So I think that's important for the approach to evaluation, but the approach can be one of creativity, one of innovation, one of shopping around. I mean, it's as though there's a huge menu now, which there wasn't 20 years ago. Not just the ones that you may have heard of, PRA and Photo Voice and Reflect and participatory agricultural research, participatory workshops. There are many of them, and each one of them has got its own repertoire of things that can be done. So what you can do as young evaluators, what you can do, and this is where I'm jealous, you're so lucky, is you can learn more and more about these different approaches, and you can pick and choose and hybridize them, mix them together, and make them something new and different. Don't feel that you've got to follow a manual. A manual won't take you through the white water. It's your attitudes, your alertness, your willingness to change, your capacity for learning. These are the things that are really very, very important. And I should have mentioned also participatory video, which is very widespread, and quite a number of you, I'm sure, have used it. And there are other participatory approaches. I'm not going to go into them now. So those are the three things that I wanted to say: multiple perspectives. Secondly, the importance of facilitation and relationships and critical reflection on what one's learning and what one isn't learning. And the third one, the wonderful explosion, so that we have, as it were, for cooking a meal, we have a much bigger set of ingredients, potential ingredients, than we did before. And each meal that we make, that we cook, will be itself, including some bits that we add ourselves. So my message to you, if you'll forgive me, I'll call you lucky devils. My message to you is, look, the world's at your feet. Go for it, be creative, and above all, enjoy. That's it.
Thank you, Professor Chambers, for very inspiring, but yet, a bit of caution. So I think the three principles you mentioned, these multiple perspectives, the power of facilitation and power of relationship, and always be innovative and flexible. I think it will be very valuable for our young and emerging evaluators for today and tomorrow. Thank you so much, sir, for coming and delivering this inspiring lecture to our participants. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, our second panelist, Mr. Marco Zigone, couldn't join the event in person, but he shared a video message with us on linking YEEs to the regional and global expectations of the eval youth in the context of SDGs. So may I request Rajesh to play the video? In the meantime, let me also introduce Marco, though he is not present here. Marco Sigon is the Director, Evaluation Office of UNFPA. He has 24 years of progressive and complementary work experience in Africa, Asia, Eastern and Central Europe, Latin America, and USA. He has authored dozens of publications, including Evaluating the SDGs with a No One Left Behind lens, Evaluation for Equitable Development Results, and How to Design and Manage Equity-Focused Relationships. Evaluations. Yeah. Please play the video.
Dear colleagues and my young friends, I'm honored to join you at the launch of the new network Young and Emerging Evaluators South Asia, and at the initiation of the online capacity building training for young people in monitoring and evaluation in South Asia. I congratulate the community of Evaluators South Asia for their vision and efforts to strengthen the professional capacities of youth in evaluation. My friends, South Asia has one of the youngest populations in the world today. Youth in the region are already leading and contributing to social, economic, and political processes and driving innovative solutions for sustainable development. Creating conditions for active participation of youth in development processes triggers a multiplier effect, critical to the delivery of the Sustainable Development Agenda to leave no one behind. To propel the global community towards the full achievements of the Sustainable Development Goals, at the start of 2020, the United Nations Secretary General launched the Decade of Action. The Decade of Action calls for all sectors to amplify urgent and ambitious solutions for the delivery of the goals. In this context, how can evaluation accelerate the achievements of the Sustainable Development Goals? While evaluation provides credible evidence on which public policies works and which don't, for whom, why, and under what circumstances. In this way, evaluation can course-correct policies and programs and support good governance to help us to reach the last mile. With COVID-19 and other humanitarian crises worsening inequalities in South Asia and around the world, evaluation is contributing towards an equitable and sustainable recovery and helping countries to get back on track to achieve the goals by 2030. At the same time, countries must have the capacities to conduct equity-focused, gender-responsive, ethical, and credible evaluations. To implement this vision, we need evaluation professionals that can deliver high-quality evaluation and uphold the standards of evaluation. In these efforts, we must encourage and support youth and young people to enter the evaluation field and profession and develop a fulfilling career in evaluation. With this motivation and in full alignment with the Decade of Action, last year, UNFPA Evaluation Office, the Evaluators Global Network, and the Global Parliamentarian Forum for Evaluation launched the Decade of Evaluation for Action, also known as the Eval for Action campaign. The campaign encouraged regional and national commitments and action to strengthen evaluation system and capacities to support the implementation of the global goals. As part of these efforts, Eval for Action campaign is advocating for commitments and investments in building capacities of young and emerging evaluators and the professionalization of evaluation. In this spirit, I invite everyone to actively take part in the upcoming Eval for Action Walk the Talk video drive that will take place from the 1st to the 31st of October of this year. The Walk the Talk drive is a platform to showcase actions you have already taken by October and their results to accelerate influential evaluations to support equitable and sustainable recovery from COVID-19 and the achievement of the global goals. Everyone can contribute a video to Walk the Talk, outlining the actions you have taken to advance influential evaluations. Dear colleagues and friends, as the director of the UNFPA Evaluation Office and the co-leader of the Eval for Action campaign, I assure you that we stand committed to support youth in evaluation as a key driver to strengthen national evaluation capacities and to accelerate the development goals. At UNFPA, we are strengthening the engagement of youth in evaluation by advancing three interconnecting levels. First, we are building an enabling environment to increase the meaningful engagement of youth in evaluation. Second, we are strengthening the demands for young and emerging evaluators by increasing institutional capacities and facilitating access to the labor market. Third, we are strengthening the supply of professional young evaluators by building their individual technical capacities and skills. As part of these efforts, we are honored to collaborate with Evaluators at the regional, global, and national levels, providing them technical, financial, and political support to grow and strengthen their network. Recently, we also initiated a partnership with the World Bank under the Global Evaluation Initiatives to advance the capacities of young and emerging evaluators. As I close, I wish you all the best. I hope you, young evaluator, together with everybody else, will make the best of this new course on monitoring evaluation and contribute towards building an evaluation culture in your countries. UNFPA remains committed to support the community of Evaluators South Asia and this initiative. My congratulations again to the colleagues of the community of Evaluators South Asia, young and emerging evaluators, the course developers, and facilitators. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marco, though you are not present here today, but absolutely we agree with the views that YEEs are an important agent today to deliver the sustainable development goals. Thank you so much. We are extremely delighted to welcome Gabriela Renteria Flores to deliver a speech on the role of young and emerging evaluators in evaluation and relationship to global Eval Youth. Gabriela is the chair of Evaluate Global Network and an independent monitoring and evaluation consultant. She holds a bachelor's degree in economics and a master's degree in development economics. She has worked in many projects for GIZ, UNDP, CONEVAL, and subnational governments in Mexico. Gabriela is a member of the National Academy of Evaluators of Mexico, Eval Gender Mexico, and Eval Youth Lab. Over to you, Gabriela.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rajib. Good afternoon to all of you. Good morning from this side of the world. Greetings from Mexico. I would like to thank the community of evaluators of South Asia for the invitation to this launch of the online training for monitoring of evaluation for young and emerging evaluators. 1 year ago, the Eval for Action campaign was launched, aligned to the Decade of Action campaign. Eval for Action, that is co-led by UNFPA and Eval Youth Global Network and the Global Parliamentarian Forum for Evaluation, seeks to promote widespread recognition on evaluation being a key accelerator for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Strong evaluation capacities and systems are critical to accelerate the progress of national development strategies. Without strong national monitoring and evaluation systems to assess interventions, sustainable and achieving equitable results, people will continue to be left behind. Also, at the core of Eval for Action is the engagement of young and emerging evaluators to take actions for influential evaluation, to become activists of social and transformational change. Many young and emerging evaluators are eager to contribute to real change through actions that bring sustainable development and leave no one behind, to be actors of change, and not only to be included in policy papers and reports, but to actually drive change. We look to be included in the decisions that affect us and our surroundings. We advocate for a more inclusive participation of youth and young and emerging evaluators. The decisions about youth are taken by youth as well. We in Eval Youth understand the prime role of capacity development and high quality evaluations to achieve the global goals. In this sense, we look to promote that young and emerging evaluators become technically sound professionals that are prepared for the challenges the present and the future holds. The work of Eval Youth has been guided by some principles and values such as inclusiveness and equity, democratic governance, belief in the importance of youth and young emerging evaluators' work, innovation, sustainability, partnerships, and building on existing achievements. In this sense, we look to hear all the voices and advocate for the inclusion of different perspectives from young and emerging evaluators. We are a global network with several regional and national chapters, and we can bring different perspectives of it to the table, and we look forward to listen to all of them. Another key value of Evaluate is empowerment, that is helping young and emerging evaluators to acquire more control over the evaluation process and thereby their lives and circumstances. The role of empowering young and emerging evaluators and as transformational evaluators in the making is addressed by Evaluate through several initiatives. For example, we have a global mentoring program, summer and winter schools, different capacity, and we have built partnerships with UNFPA and with the Global Evaluation Initiative towards this goal. Furthermore, the overarching goal of Evaluate is to actively engage young and emerging evaluators in the evaluation field, including as advocates and activists for social justice. In the era where transformative change is most needed, young and emerging evaluators have taken ownership and reflect that transformations cannot be dealt with in isolation, but that require alliances. Thus, another Evaluate value is working with others toward the better world for young and emerging evaluators, youth and youth people in general. Through values, we'll look to promote the inclusion of young and emerging evaluators in all stages of evaluation. I would like to invite everyone to collectively think on this, about the role of youth in stronger evaluation capacities. And like I will finally, as Marco did, I would just like to invite you to join the Walk the Talk and showcase the actions you have been taking for influential evaluation in a short video and posted on Twitter in October. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Gabriela. We all see how Evaluate Network is actually growing and proactively getting engaged with the change process in every region across the globe. Wonderful work. Thank you so much. I think after that, go next slide, Rajeshi. Yeah, so actually we kept some interactive time here, but I don't see any question as of now. And we are also slightly behind the schedule. So let us skip this interactive time now. We may come back later after the second panel. So I'll go straight to our next panel and to the next speaker. We have another well-known speaker with us. We all know her for her contribution in the field of evaluation and her leadership in evaluation movement, Ada Ocampo. Ada has 25+ years of experience in evaluation, notably in evaluation partnerships, capacity development, networking, evaluation training, including curriculum design. She has worked at the international level since 1996, mainly with UN agencies, that is IFAD, UNDP, and UNICEF. She has lectured at various universities across the globe. She was one of the founders of International Organization for Cooperation in Evaluation, IOCE, and the Latin America Evaluation Network. Ada is the co-chair of Eval SDGs and the current president of the International Development Evaluation Association, IDS. Ada will speak on YEEs from the context of professionalization of evaluation. Over to you, Ada.
Thanks very much. Sorry. Okay, thanks very much, colleagues. I think that I sent an updated presentation. I don't know whether you will allow me to show my screen. This was a previous one, but if not, I can just speak. I'm delighted to be with you today. I cannot believe many years have passed when I was—
Ada, you can share your screen.
Thank you. When I was invited to the launch of the Community of Evaluators of South Asia. At that time, it was a dream coming true. Many years have passed and many initiatives I have followed that were led by the Community of Evaluators of South Asia. And now it's a delight to see, and that a new chapter on young and emerging evaluators is happening. I would like to start my speech, my 5-minute speech, by saying that professionalization of evaluations will not make sense if we don't involve the young and emerging evaluators, but we need to involve them by approaching capacity development activities as long-term activities. Young and emerging evaluators will not only as the target, as the audience of capacity development activities, which is also important for them to develop their capacities, but also looking at professionalization. They are the future. Young and emerging evaluators are the hope we have for having evaluation professionalized. If they learn on competency-based initiatives, then they will bring the necessary competencies we need for making evaluation more relevant and more credible. Next slide, please. I would like to start by asking the question, why professionalization in general? Evaluation is a distinct function and needs to be recognized as a profession. Normally we talk evaluation and we talk about evaluation within the field of research. Some even talk about evaluation within the field of audit, but evaluation is a distinct profession. Initiatives for professionalization evaluation through certification, accreditation in different regions within the UN, within the BOPES, is at the core of the discussion of the dialogue nowadays. Discussions of competency profiles for evaluators and norms and standards are also linked to the discussions about professionalization. There is an increasing agreement on the need of evaluation to combine technical and not technical competencies, such as understanding the context, statistics, knowledge and approaches and methods, ethics, communication skills, analytical and judgment skills, and negotiation and dialogue. This means that no longer evaluation is seen about only knowing about methods, knowing about methods, not only knowing about technical aspects, but the important skills and competencies about being a negotiator, being a communicator, establishing dialogue, etc. Next slide, please. So the assumption here is that if evaluation is professionalized, then qualified and recognized evaluators will lead and guide the evaluation function. And then evaluation practice will gain in terms of quality, rigor, use, and credibility. I would like to stop here by bringing again my first statement that if we develop evaluation capacity initiatives with young and emerging evaluators, and we take into account competencies profiles that are important to professionalize evaluation, then the new generators of capacitated young and emerging evaluators will bring back these competencies and will be able to ensure that evaluation is professionalized, and therefore evaluation will gain in terms of credibility and relevance. I will quickly go to the next two slides to show, next slide please, to show that although there is a long way in developing competencies profiled by different organizations, both international and voluntary, such as the American Evaluation Association, the Canadian Evaluation Association, as well as others as DFID, etc. There are, if you see the last row, there are particular limitations in each of these competencies. So not all of them are strong in all aspects. There are particular limitations, and we need to address them if we want evaluation to be highly professionalized and recognized. So there are aspects in different related, for example, to human rights references, to partnerships, references to global issues, reference again to human rights, to shared ownership and learning. And if you see human rights is a cross-cutting issue that is not necessarily fully reflected in all competencies profiles. So this means that although the progress is undeniable, there is still a long way to run in terms of professionalizing evaluation. And we need to move fast because the credibility of the function, the credibility of the profession, the relevance of the profession is at stake. So we need young and emerging evaluators to really, really embrace these competencies and also become advocates of these competencies, and not only the recipients of evaluation trainings that of course they should as well, but not limiting the role to that aspect. The last slide, please. If we see here, there is a comparison that was done by UNEC when I have been part of this study, where there is how the different competencies are emphasized by different organizations. I would like just to focus on management skills, which is a very important competency that normally is not taught in courses. So I would encourage the community of evaluators of South Asia to put emphasis on this, because young and emerging evaluators, when they come to do their practices, when they come to join their first job, and they want to compete in permanent jobs, not only doing one-time evaluation, they are requested to have managerial skills. And therefore, it's important to put the emphasis in those aspects as well. So I hope that this is an emphasis that the community of evaluators of South Asia will do, as it has done in previous years in capacity development initiatives. And I would like to finalize by congratulating again the community of evaluators of South Asia for investing in such an important initiative. Now the investment in young and emerging evaluators is the best investment one can do if we look at the future of the profession, if we look at the credibility and the relevance of the profession in the medium and long term. Thank you very, very much, and congratulations once again. I'm delighted to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ada, for explaining the need for professionalization of evaluation and both technical and non-technical competencies to become a professional evaluator and to become an advocate of evaluation. Thank you so much. Now we have another young speaker from South Asia, Ms. Dechen Dolkar. Ms. Dechen Dolkar is a civil engineer by profession, currently working as a consultant with the Ministry of Health, Royal Government of Bhutan for the World Bank project. She is also a core member of the Evaluation Association of Bhutan and Eval Youth Bhutan. As young and emerging evaluator, she strongly believes in the strength of youth in the development agenda of the world. Besides her professional career as civil engineer, she engages in community works and works related to monitoring and evaluation. So over to Dechen.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Rajiv, for the introduction, and community of Evaluators South Asia for the invitation. I'm honored to be a part of this event and to be speaking among the highly qualified, experienced, and knowledgeable speakers. As introduced, I'm Dechen Dolkar from Bhutan. I am the co-leader of Evaluate Bhutan chapter and co-working group for Evaluation Association of Bhutan. In Bhutan, evaluation culture is still at a nascent stage, but it is picking up lately. Like any other Evaluate chapter around the globe, Evaluate Bhutan aspires to encourage young, dynamic youth in the field of evaluation to create a vibrant group of young and emerging evaluators. I would like to thank Community of Evaluators South Asia for lining up such exciting programs for the young and emerging evaluators. These programs are timely interventions for the building the capacity of YEEs. Evaluation is a systematic method of studying interventions or initiatives to understand what works and what did not. For any country to do well, evaluation is of paramount importance. To have a vibrant and sustainable evaluation culture in the country, it is necessary to involve the youths of the nation in this field. YEs are young, energetic, with huge zeal to learn new things, and looking up to the guidance from experts and experience to direct their energy in the right direction. This initiative by CoE South Asia will definitely help in enhancing the capacity and lead the YEs in the right direction of becoming evaluation champions in future. Through this program, we expect to develop our skills in evaluation. We foresee ourselves actively engaging with practitioners in this space and listening to their real-life experiences from the field. This platform will bring together the young and emerging evaluators and practicing evaluators from across the globe. More importantly, we look forward to paving pathways for our professional networking among the participants. We hope this program for the young and emerging evaluators will not just help us develop build our capacity in the field of evaluation, but also inspire us to be champions of evaluation and make a difference in countries' development through active evaluation. Last but not least, I would like to thank CoE South Asia for giving importance to the YEEs and organizing exciting and knowledgeable training programs. I would like to urge all the young and emerging evaluators who are attending today's event to get themselves registered and participate in the upcoming exciting programs and not let go of this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, everyone. Over to you, Rajiv.
Thank you, Dechen, for your very positive and optimistic view on our network and our online program. Thank you so much. Finally, let me introduce the key figure of today's program, Dr. Mallika Samaranaike, under whose leadership the YEE network of Community of Evaluators South Asia has been formed and being launched today. Mallika Samaranaike is the founder, director, and chairperson of the Institute for Participatory Interaction in Development in Sri Lanka. She is backed by more than 40 years of service and consultancy experience. Dr. Samaranaike is a founder member and the first president of the Community of Evaluators South Asia. She was a founder member and past president of the Sri Lanka Evaluation Association. At present, she is a board member of CoE-SA and the focal point for the YEE network, CoE South Asia. Over to you, Mallika ji. Mallika ji, you need to unmute yourself. You're muted.
Yes, thank you.
Great.
Thank you very much for that introduction. It's my great pleasure that we were able to initiate this long cherished aspiration of ours to launch the YEE program. Can I have the slides, please? I just want to highlight what is there in store for us for the future. With regard to YEE capacity building, the way forward. Next slide, please. This is the steps of the process that we would like to follow in future with the collaboration of all of you, of course. We need to first identify eligible members. Already there are some who have registered, but we want to systematize the process and have registered list of members, which we can call YEEs. Then we'll prepare a membership base along with that information. Preparation of capacity building program based on felt needs expressed by those interested. So it will be a needs-based follow-up that we will take to. Then identify suitable YEEs aspiring to build their capacities. We'll try to find out who are really wanting to build their own capacities and conduct capacity building programs as scheduled for the future. Already we have scheduled 4 2-hour programs as part of this process of the launch. But thereafter, we can have a long-standing capacity building process. Obtain feedback from participants for further improvement of capacity building of YEEs. And once that is done, we monitor and evaluate the progress of specific programs for further improvement. That is what we have in mind on the path for the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mallika ji, for providing the step-by-step process of this YEE network and the online course on MNE. And I think you explained it very nicely. So thank you so much. So after that, I think we have another small, time we kept for interactive session. Though I don't see many questions, but definitely there is a question from Singapore actually on impact evaluation versus participatory kind of evaluation. So if Professor Chambers agree to respond very quickly on this particular question, I can read it out, Professor Chambers. She has written that, I feel that in recent years, many social service agencies seem to feel burdened by the need to do impact assessment, to measure impact of their services, programs, etc. And I wonder, will participatory evaluation be better placed in social sector as it comes across as more humanistic in nature, given its premised on empowerment and giving voice? Yes, Professor Chambers, would you like to respond?
I don't have an informed view in trying to answer this question. Maybe there's somebody else who's better able, perhaps more familiar with impact evaluation than I am. Right.
Good. Okay, so I think we are also almost at the fag end of our program today. And
Rajiv,
pardon, yes, Ada, you want to respond?
Is the question about the difference between participatory and impact, or whether they are opposite? What was the question?
It's not the question to that thing. She is asking that, is it better place? The participatory is a better evaluation process maybe for the social sector, because it promised for the empowerment, and promised to give voice to the unheard marginalized people. So vis-a-vis definitely impact evaluation. That is the question, if I understood it correctly.
Well, if I may, I would like to say that I would say that that recent discussions about impact evaluation also mentioned that the impact evaluation cannot be seen as a technical exercise, as a value-free exercise, and there is a need there is a need for impact evaluation to be approached in a more comprehensive way by using both quantitative and qualitative methods, and bringing the perspectives of the people. Even the RCT advocates, I would say, the RCT advocates are now talking about RCT plus approaches that include both participatory and non-participatory methods. What I would like to say that we are living a context where there is a need to use evaluation as a source of evidence for better policy making. And this means that we are for reducing inequalities, for advocating for a more for social justice, for a more equitable society, and for leaving no one behind. we are in the context of the 2030 agenda where these principles are non-negotiable. And if that is the aim we have, if we are evaluators that aim for a better world, well, then the discussion about whether we should be inclusive, we should use participatory approaches is also non-negotiable. It should be part of the underpinning principles that should drive our evaluation practices, our evaluation messages. And I think that is extremely important, whether we can do impact evaluation with these principles behind. The answer, I would say, is yes. And so it's not, the time has come. We have reached a point where we cannot just separate impact evaluation from participatory evaluation as it happened in the past. We are here for using evaluation for a better world. Thank you so much.
Right, completely agree with you, Ada, because it's not about this method versus that method. It's basically the purpose of evaluation is more important here. Beyond the technique and methods and approach. Thank you so much for your insightful view on this question. Thank you so much. So we almost reached towards the end of this event. We had 5 live speakers and 1 voice message from video message from Marco. But the good thing is that all speakers emphasize the role of young evaluators, young professionals in the field of evaluation. Then the importance of competencies. So we're very happy to see that the kind of thing we're going to do in South Asia is relevant, is acceptable, and everyone actually gave a very positive view about this particular program, about learning different tools and techniques along with non-technical skills, and then this comparison of competence, different kind of competency profiles, and also not just to do evaluation, but also to become advocates of evaluation to bring change, equity, and justice. So thank you, everyone. But before we close this session today, I like to invite Dr. Sonal Zaveri to propose a vote of thanks. Let me also introduce her. Dr. Sonal Zaveri comes with over 30 years of experience in strategic planning, program design, capacity building, and mentoring and evaluation. She has worked in more than 25 countries in Asia, East and West Africa, Asia Pacific, Central Asia, Middle East, and Eastern Europe at grassroots, subnational, national, regional, and international levels. Sonal is the past Vice President of CoE South Asia and presently the coordinator of GENSA, the Gender and Equity Network South Asia. So over to Sonal.
Thank you, Rajiv, for that very kind introduction. And it gives me great pleasure to propose a vote of thanks for another brand new special interest group of CoE South Asia, the Young and Emerging Evaluators. It follows the first special interest group that we initiated last year, GENSA, the Gender and Equity Network South Asia, of which I'm a coordinator. As you will see, the initiation of special interest groups indicates a deep commitment by CoE South Asia towards the needs of our membership. As you have probably heard from our earlier speakers, is that the YE Special Interest Group was planned to be launched at our conference in Bangladesh in 2020 with the kind generosity of UNFPA towards that. But the uncertain conditions due to the pandemic had put our plans in abeyance. And we are indeed so grateful that the UNFPA Evaluation Office, under the leadership of Marco Sigone, recommitted the funds for the online launch and the capacity building for YEEs in the region. Marco is an old friend, very responsive to the complex needs of South Asia and ever willing to support our endeavors. He was present at the launch of GENSA at its first year celebration in July 2021, and now for the YEE launch. And his deep commitment for YEE is really well known, operationalized through Eval for Action And we thank Marco for being our esteemed speaker for this event, taking time from his busy schedule and encouraging us in this new journey. Thanks to Acela too for coordinating this dialogue with UNFPA. We would like to heartfelt thanks for our distinguished keynote speaker and scholar, Dr. Robert Chambers. He has been a beacon for us, for many of us in this part of the world, always reminding us about the power and the powerlessness in participation, and to think creatively about our role as evaluators. He graciously accepted our invitation for the YE launch, and his words and insights have given us so much to think about, as always. He has been a steadfast supporter of CoE South Asia, and we thank him for his presence today. Ada Akombo is no stranger to South Asia, and to many of us gathered here online. Her words regarding professionalization and competencies resonate with all of us. We have a professionalization committee in CoE South Asia, and we hear your advice and your guidance towards that. And we will count on your guidance for the YEE group. Thank you, Gabriella, for providing a vision for young evaluators and welcoming the South Asia YE launch today. And we look towards further collaborations with the global youth community of evaluators. Yes, we are ready for the challenges that you so eloquently outlined. Thank you, Dechen, for being the torchbearer and the voice for all YEEs in our region. You know, age is not a number, and youthfulness is in our spirit and our attitude. So a special thanks to the coordinator and the focal point for YEE, Malika Samaranayake, who has worked tirelessly to launch the Young and Emerging Evaluators Special Interest Group. We welcome her immense experience and wisdom in guiding the YEE. Thank you, Rajiv, for skillfully moderating us through this very complex sessions with many, many speakers and faultlessly taking us through. To the governing board of CoE South Asia, who has stood steadfastly in launching the YEE, and thank you for all their support. Last but not the least, a very special thanks to the CoE Secretariat Manager, Rajshi, for all the behind the scenes work that has enabled the smooth launching of this event. Thank you for all the participants who are present today. We value your presence very much and appreciate the time that you have spent today. And so with this vote of thanks, I close the session. Thank you, everyone, and do have a good day.
Could you take a screenshot of if you please all switch on your video, you can maybe, yeah.
Rajiv?
Yeah, we are taking a screenshot, Malika ji.
Oh, I see, sorry.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Amazing technology these days.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Wonderful, wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Ada.
you.
You are so
Bye.
close to us.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye, Ada.
Bye.
Robert, have you left us?
No, I'm here.
Oh,
Thank you. Bye-bye,
yes.
everyone.
So thank you so much for joining us today.
No, thank you. It's a privilege. I'm
For the
very
younger
interested.
ones who joined and saw you and heard you for the first time, this is really great. Thank you, Moran. We look forward to have 4 sessions, technical sessions, as follow-up. So I hope all the YEEs who joined us today will enroll themselves for the technical sessions. That is more to do with the content of evaluation.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Chambers. Thank you for joining us. It was really pleasure hearing you. And we are closing the meeting. If
Yes,
anyone,
it's a lot of work behind the scenes, Rajyasree. Thank you so much.
Well, my
most
thanks
welcome, my pleasure.
Thanks to all of you.
Bye,
Oh,
Robert.
bye, bye.
Bye.
Good evening to everyone. Bye.